The CalSouthern Difference Award is awarded each year to an alumnus who has made a difference in his or her area of practice, field of study, or local community through distinguished work, scholarship, innovation, or service. This year's winner, Dr. Bill O'Leary, is a 2013 CalSouthern Doctor of Psychology graduate, and he has dedicated his professional life to the prevention of child sexual abuse. As a therapist, he has counseled victims of sexual and other violent crimes for 20 years, and more recently he has broadened his practice to work with perpetrators of these crimes as well in an effort to reduce the recidivism. Dr. O'Leary's work, though, extends far beyond his own practice. He serves on a number of New York State boards, including the New York State Alliance for the Prevention of Sexual Abuse. He organized and serves on the Nassau County Sexual Abuse Task Force, and he's working to create similar task forces in counties across New York. In addition to Dr. O'Leary, the task force is comprised of the head of the Child Advocacy Center, the district attorney, parole and probation officers, lawmakers, judges, and the Special Victims Unit officer. Its goal is to educate the media and legislators to promote the enactment of more informed, research-based laws. And I should note here that much of the research that was relied upon by this task force was analyzed by Dr. O'Leary as part of his doctoral project that he completed here at CalSouthern, entitled Preventing Child Sexual Abuse, What Works and What Doesn't Work. Dr. O'Leary has made presentations before the New York State Assembly and has been successful in advancing a variety of legislation. His most ambitious goal right now is the passage of Erin's Law, which has passed and been enacted in 23 different states. Erin's Law requires that public schools implement a prevention-oriented program. Thanks in large part to the efforts of Dr. O'Leary and his task force, the law has been passed in the New York Senate, and now they are focusing their efforts on the Assembly. Outside of this work, Dr. O'Leary was also instrumental in opening a resource center to provide case management for homeless men on Long Island. This has resulted in dozens of these men transitioning from permanent into permanent housing from indefinite shelter placements. A volunteer fireman for more than a decade, Dr. O'Leary lives in Stony Brook, New York with his wife Christine and his two boys, Logan and Dylan. And he spends most of the time on his weekends coaching their sports and leading their scout troops. And as if all of this weren't enough, he is now also working on a book entitled Stop Letting Your Past Control You. Dr. O'Leary, it is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome you to the stage to receive the 2015 CalSouthern Difference Award and to present you with a check for $2,500 to be applied to your work to prevent child sexual abuse.
Thank you so much, everyone. It's a nice award. Thank you to Dr. Ryan, Dean Grimes, Dean Herbert, and Dean Sampan for all the work you guys do for all of us. I also want to thank my beautiful wife, Christine, who's somewhere, nice to meet you, who's unconditional support for obviously many endeavors and just being my life partner and kind of doing this together. And creating great memories for our two boys, as mentioned, Logan and Dylan. It's really an honor to be acknowledged for something that I'm so passionate about. I've been working with victims of sexual abuse for over 20 years, and it's the first time I really felt like I'm actually working towards making an impact. I'll explain. Whenever I'd go into New York City, since we're from New York, my stomach would drop whenever I saw someone who was homeless. Now, the reason for the drop is because of the powerless feeling that there was nothing I could do to help them. I've given dollars. I even tried to give my shoes once, and the guy said no. It's a weird day. Helping in the moments was nice, but I didn't feel like it did much towards the problem. Over the years, I've been very active and vocal about the policies in my county. I've also developed relationships with local politicians and county officials. Through this partnering, I was able to get my county to open a resource center for homeless males, where I also serve as a medical consultant. The results have been great. We've been able to get permanent housing for many difficult-to-place individuals, which increases stability and reduces the cost of the county. Next week, I'm meeting with the commissioner from a neighboring county, so hopefully we'll get the program going there as well. As a forensic therapist, I work extensively with victims and perpetrators of violent and sexual crimes. I do this to try and help victims and prevent further victimization. 95% of sexual crimes are committed by people who are not known by law enforcement or known to law enforcement. Strangely, in New York, we have hundreds of laws regarding offenders, but none regarding sexual abuse prevention. Unfortunately, this approach lends to outdated concept of stranger danger, and it gives a false sense of security to parents. Essentially, we put 95% of our resources into 5% of the problem. Through my doctoral project, as mentioned, I was able to confirm that education and prevention actually work to prevent sexual abuse. This is not new research, but it needs to get to the right people. This is why I'm partnering with the local and state politicians and officials to pass Aaron's Law, which actually focuses on prevention and education. We're up to 26 states, so that's a plus. As much as I love working with victims and do believe I help them on an individual level, getting Aaron's Law passed, I really feel like I'm actually doing something in a larger level. As a credit to California, Aaron's Law has already been passed, as well as the other 25 other states. What I'd like to impress upon you, graduates, from these stories, is be passionate about what you do and use logic in doing so. I use research and data to drive my discussions, which makes for a much more grounded dynamic. It's also hard to lose an argument when you use data. Professional partnering is essential. Your goals should be more important than your ego. Personalities can make things difficult, but it's not always the other person, which I've learned. Sometimes it might be us, which is the topic for my next book. Maybe it's you. I truly want to thank everyone for this award, and congratulations to the new graduates. Thank you so much.